My entitled parents rejected my boyfriend, so they gave me an ultimatum. I gladly accepted. I am an only child, and my current boyfriend and I have been dating for 6 years since we were 19. We met at junior college where we started dating, and after that we went to different universities but within an hour of each other. My parents met him early on by joining us at dinner. Everything seemed to go well. Then soon after, we went to his parents' house so I could meet his family, and after I told my mom, she told me how hurt she was that she didn't get to meet them. I expressed that there was no reason to meet them so soon, but it was clear that she felt betrayed. Fast forward, my parents invited me to our house and my boyfriend joined. After we arrived, my conservative father pulled me aside and yelled at me about how wrong it was that I drove and that we took my car. He's the man, he should be driving, he said, while my mom scolded me for not asking him to pay gas money. From this incident on, everything went downhill. Our house was cold, so my boyfriend wore a sweatshirt with his hood up. My parents to this day see this as weird and rude, as well as a reason they don't like him. As we continued our relationship, it became clear that my parents didn't like him, but they couldn't give me a good reason. They'll say he's not a good fit for the family. They don't tell me to stop dating him, but they do tell me that I need to keep them and him separate. They don't want to hear about him and he's not welcome at their house. My boyfriend never cheated on me or abused me. He has no drug problem, so I was very confused about where this hate came from. Eventually, it became an ultimatum given to me by my parents. They told me if you continue to date him, eventually it will be either him or us, and you'll have to choose. I couldn't believe my parents would say such a thing, and I made it clear that I wasn't going to pick sides. After my undergraduate, I started working at a financial firm while he graduated from undergraduate at UC Berkeley and was accepted to law school across the country. We were always very serious about each other and decided to do long distance until he graduated and moved back to California. 6 years into our relationship, I called my parents and told them that we were going to be moving in together. About 20 minutes later, I got a text from my mom, saying that she doesn't want to rain on my parade, but that this path excludes her and my dad from my future. I told them I would never understand their logic and asked them to seek therapy. Since then, they have sent me more and more text messages saying stuff like, "We feel like we're losing our daughter," or "This is heartbreaking," and all at the same time, including that this was my choice and my fault. I texted my parents that I thought my boyfriend and I should come over and talk, but they thought otherwise. My parents replied that they wanted to see me face to face to talk, but that my boyfriend wasn't allowed. My boyfriend tried calling my dad, but he never picked up the phone, or if he did, he would just hang up. According to my dad, Berkeley isn't a man's college, which was among the reasons why they disliked my boyfriend. They also blamed my boyfriend for my poor academics in college, even though he would go out of his way to help me out. At this point, my parents were blaming everything on my boyfriend. Even if my dad felt sick, it was probably because of my boyfriend. As much as they disliked our relationship, I would never think my parents would do this next to ruin our relationship. After many more hurtful texts from my parents saying they can't accept my partner and that it doesn't matter if he's a good fit for me, if he's not a good fit for my family, then it's never going to work out. They made it clear that my boyfriend was not welcome and that this was a family matter and they needed to speak with only me about it. So, I got in my car, and while driving, I planned exactly what I was going to say. After about an hour of small talk, we got into the nitty-gritty conversation about the elephant in the room. A previous text that week had said, "We don't expect to change your mind, we just want to talk," but it was clear that this in-person meeting was a last attempt to shake me from my reality and into theirs. My dad said he's not a man and I don't respect him, but I asked them to give me a good reason, so my mom said because he's taking away the most precious thing in our life. I told them how I'm going to get married someday regardless of who it is and they should respect my decision. It ended up being a 3-hour-long conversation where I spoke for all of maybe 5 minutes. What angered me most was when my dad said, "We aren't giving you an ultimatum, we are saving your life." I told him that he was trying to brainwash me and that he should just respect my decision because I'm the one who wakes up next to him, not my father. My mom started to cry and my dad kept saying, "You effed up kid." It's about 10 p.m. at this point, so now that they know I have a slightly longer drive home, they are kind of sweeping me out the door so I can get home before it gets too much later. I get in the car and drive home just exhausted and confused. Truthfully, they did a good job of again making me question my thoughts and choices. When I got home, I started spilling everything that they said to my boyfriend. He wasn't surprised, but at the same time kept his chill and didn't say anything bad about them. All of this to say, I moved in with my boyfriend and let my parents know about it. Safe to say they were unhappy and did something I never expected them to. They tried asking for my address, but I was fearful of giving it to them until my boyfriend assured me that it was okay. I didn't think they were the type of people to come unannounced, but that's exactly what they did. While I was at work, my parents showed up at our house where my boyfriend was alone. According to him, they started brainwashing him into breaking up and even started gossiping about me. They said our daughter has many conditions and your baby will be unhealthy, and also said how they are trying to save my boyfriend from me. At that point, my boyfriend let out a little laugh that enraged my dad. From trying to brainwash my dad wanted to deal brain damage. I got there just in time to stop my dad from a potential crime and then told my parents to get out and never return. My mom tried apologizing and said how they were ready to pay any price, but my only price was excluding them from my life. It's been 26 years of emotional abuse and narcissism to deal with. I still get very emotional about all of this, it's still a very fresh wound. I mourn the relationship I had with my mom and the one I will never have with my dad.